We are live. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, Rebel Nation. This is Andy McCabe. This is the Restoration Rebel Roundtable for April 15th. No, May 15th, sorry, 2018. And let's do this. Before we get started with every meeting, we read the 4 agreements, the 4 commitments, as it were. And here we go. Rebel commitments. In order to maintain clarity of purpose, we ask that every member of the Rebel community make the following commitments. I thought somebody else was going to read this week. No?
We talked about that, but Travis is driving, so he's like, he failed.
He's driving. So, ultimate fail. That's all right. It's all right. It's always next week. Commitment number 1, I will protect the value of my services. I will not devalue the services of another professional by providing anti-competitive bids. I will never provide free services, as this would only serve to erode the value of similar services industry-wide. Commitment number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. I'm over here letting people into the room now, and that changed my screen. Shane Olson, get in here. Parker Olson, get in here. Here we go. Commitment number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. I will explain our processes and details to my client. I will never hide details or manipulate reports. I will never communicate with a third party without also communicating with my client. Commitment number 3, I do not believe in competition. The restoration professionals in my market are part of my community. I will be an active member of that community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change we strive for. Commitment number 4, I'm willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that is not compatible with my values and stated mission. Healthy relationships do not require us to give up money, sleep, or our humanity. Kapaya, kabuya, or whatever they say these days, these crazy kids. Welcome, guys. Wow. Okay. Mr. Ryan David, get in here. All right. Who's here for the first time? Raise a hand, shake your head, wiggle. Nathan. Oh, I'm sorry. Michael Albert. Michael Albert, where are you at? Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about you.
Wichita Falls, Texas.
Wichita Falls. That's not Kansas?
No, we actually have class down here.
Oh, got it. All right. What are you doing? Running a mitigation, full construction? What do you do?
We are just starting the rebuild. We do full mitigation, certified mold in Texas, and janitorial for same operation territory. We also cover part of Oklahoma.
All right. In the tornado alley, as it were, yes?
Yes, sir.
Active season last season?
Not too bad. Had a little bit of tornadoes, but a couple trailers lost, nothing big.
Don't they aim for trailer parks anyway? It's like,
yeah.
If you want a tornado, just move to a trailer park. You're going to see one.
Right. What is it? Divorce and a tornado have in common in Oklahoma? Either way, somebody's losing a trailer.
Love it. Love it. Welcome, Michael. Glad to have you here. All right. You're muted. Joe, I'm going to leave you unmuted. Just watch your language. All right. There are children in the room. I don't see any new Steven Slater. You been here before? Oh, yeah. Oh, Steven Slater, RSG. RSG's in the house. I sent over my first file. It wasn't a big one, but we'll see how that goes. RSG was a sponsor of one of the generous sponsors of the summit that we had 2 weeks ago. They do collection services, bad debt stuff. And I am excited to see what happens when we start going after this 10 and 10 that we gave away over and over and over again, but we still invoiced for. That's going to be exciting. That's a little teaser for all y'all in the know. That's going to be cool. John Grubb is there. No video. Who else is here for the first time? Nobody? Oh, what? Is that your CR, Mr. Olson? Mr. Parker Olson, is that your CR? Holy smokes. How long did that take you? You were like 6 weeks from WRT to CR or some craziness. How long did that take?
Yes, like 60 minutes. No, somebody was messaging me telling me my colors on my wall were too bright, so I was just showing them this too because it's something they don't have.
That's something you don't have. You did, but you don't. Congratulations, man. I know it's a lot of work. You dedicated a lot of time of your life. Certified restorer from RIA is no joke. That is top of the industry type guys.
Top of the food chain.
Anyone else CR in here? I'm not. I'm pretty far from it. I think actually when I got my adjuster's license, they actually moved me back in line. I'm just kidding. Okay. I've gone through the what I needed to do. We've introduced new people. What else do we have? Who's talking about the leadership group? Is that me or you, Klark?
I can.
I mean, I can introduce it and you can carry it on. How about that?
Sure. Hey, by the way, I think David Sweet is a CR, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, you were asking. So.
He wants to be, not quite yet.
Yeah. Oh, Danny Burnett's got his token. You know, I left his ship. I left the whole thing without a bag, so I got no chips. No.
So you put all your chips on black? Is that what you're saying?
I did. I lost.
Cool.
It happens.
Yep.
Well, we have newly formed leadership group ownership of the Alliance. Clark Brown, Jonathan Grubb, Andy McCabe, and Joe Ledbetter. We are your leaders moving forward into the next year, and we're excited to see what rolls out after that. Do you want to take it from there?
Yep.
Okay.
I do. Sorry I'm late. I was on the phone with Mr. Alvarez on the way in.
I'm going to highlight you. Here we go. Speaker view.
Mr. Alvarez told everybody hello. Listen, so everybody that was at the summit and a little bit in the group we've referenced, there is such a thing now as AIR, the Alliance of Independent Restorers. I want to start off by breaking that down real quick. Obviously, starting from the back, we are restorers. That's the easy part. I want to focus on Alliance. Andy and I met a year and a half ago, 17 months ago, and Alliance was what we always called this. It was aligning.
It was the Rebel Alliance.
Rebel Alliance. It was, and that's how the Rebels came about. So Alliance has always been part of the system. It's not going to be an association necessarily. It's not a organization. We will have organization, and it's going to look and feel like that, but it really is an alliance because it's member-driven and member-populated. And then the most important word there that I think is going to be, number one, misconstrued a lot, but I think it really sends home what Rebels are. It's independent. Independent means nothing to do with color of your truck or your shirts. It has nothing to do with your brand, whether you're on TPAs or programs or you get your business from anywhere. Independent means your business runs as an independent mindset structure.
Yes, sir.
So you independently have chosen to go to work for yourself because you probably worked for other people at some point and didn't like part of that. And you said, you know what? I could do it better. I could do it my way. I can serve people. So independent has zero to do. I don't know what the opposite of independent is, but I'm pretty sure Andy could say it, but independent would be those that aren't here, that choose, I can't be part of that group because you guys hate the TPAs. I don't hate it.
Is captive. You are captive to your mindset. You are captive to somebody else's rules.
Yeah. I tell you this one, what you're not going to fit into AIR if you call us and say, hey, I got a call from a party that told me I couldn't be a part of the Rebels because they would stop my business. Well, at that point, I'm sorry, you don't own your business. So that's not very independent to me, and that's not what I would call myself. So Alliance of Independent Restorers really fit. I don't know how many – Parker was involved with this conversation. I don't know how many variations that we went through, and we always kind of came back to the same thing, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, except for the red-bearded pirates didn't make the cut. Sorry, Parker.
So – yeah, Red Bit of Pop. That was part of it. Yeah.
He's not even listening. He's like, I think I heard my name.
So the next question is, what is AIR and why does it exist? And I will tell you that we know a lot of the why, but I think the rest, there's a portion of it that still isn't completely defined. But I know that we needed to legitimize this a little bit. Is that a word?
Nope, but it's cool.
I needed to make it legitimate, or we needed to make it legitimate. It needed to be something beyond just rebels.
Yes.
Because the rebels in any kind of force were fighting for something, and they were led by something. So this is, what did I call it? I said, this is like General Motors, but you can still drive a General Motors product, whether it's Chevy or something like that. So
yeah.
Air had to be formed so that we could start to do some new things and have a voice. We already have the audience. Now we need to put that into action. We need to quit talking on Facebook every day, and we need to do something.
Yes.
And I think that's what a lot of people here have been asking for and waiting for. And as he mentioned it, people have come and gone in the rebel group since this thing started. Some have come and gone on their own. Some just don't have the bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to OP, and OP said, man, I wish I had more time to do the things y'all do. He goes, but man, I've got 13 things going on at one time. So no harm, no foul. But we're committed to this. We've gone through a few different shifts in leadership, and we have a couple different tiers of that. They're more like admin and moderators, and all that's going to become very clear. But at this point, I think we have a very good board of 4 that is representative, that all have this, all have the heart, all are doing this for, just we're all restorers at one point, all have a story that brought us here. So that's what we are. We are Air. So when someone asks, what is Air? We're going to get some logos put out, whatever you want to do with it. We're still rebels.
Well, local groups. So the local groups are still
group.
going to be rebel groups. They're going to be Restoration Rebel meetups. We're still going to have Restoration Rebel roundtables. Rebels are not going away. We needed a different structure up above to handle stuff. Up until
Let's put it this way. When we go to the RIA conference later this year, next year, and we get maybe invited to have a booth, it's going to be the Air booth. It's not going to be the Rebel booth, because that's not going to be as welcome, because people associate something with that group, that name that we aren't, which I'm not ashamed of it. But if we want to attract people, it needs to have, people want to be informed with something official. And I think Air's going to do that. And we get calls from industry leaders saying, we like what you're doing, so keep doing what you're doing. That's my soapbox.
Something so cool today. I was looking up, how long has this Facebook group been around? It's like, man, it feels like 2.5 years. So I go on there. I'm looking, April 30th, 2017. Before April 30th last year, there was no such thing as a Restoration Rebel. But look what we've done in 12 months. 12 months. It's just amazing. And I've been bombarded by some people. We're not organized enough. You don't have enough structure. And I need to remember, we're not that old. we did. There was 43 people that showed up in Bend, Oregon last fall. These things will happen, and they do happen. But man, I'm excited. I mean, how many of you just get excited just coming in and going, I'm going to learn something today that I didn't know before, or I'm going to take something out of this. I'm going to put it in my business, and it's going to catapult my business to the next level. That's what I get excited about. That's what does it for me. John Grubb, you got another project? Are you working on that trailer again? Tell me you're not working on that trailer again.
I'm working on the trailer again. I'm furring out a wall.
Do it.
But I'm listening.
Do it. All right.
Andy,
sure.
Randy Thomas on Facebook asked how many members we have. Anybody know off the top of their head before we look?
2401.
2401. Okay, thank you. Randy, if you're watching, we got 2401, bud.
That doesn't show in the Facebook group. You can't just click on it. I don't know. I don't know these things. Hey Don, welcome. Good to see you.
I don't know.
All right, so that's Air. We took in there that, and then that. Moderator, admin. We need people to backfill those positions. Over the last 6 months, I and we have put people into positions without asking first. So we're now going to do it differently. If you want an administrative role in AIR, in the Restoration Rebel group, not just the Facebook group, but we're not just talking about moderating a feed here. We're talking about leadership, real administration. Get a hold of me, get a hold of Klark, and we will figure out where the best place is for folks. Like last week, I already nominated 3 people to come up with the rules in the kind of the framework for our regional and local rebel groups. I volunteered them; they didn't volunteer themselves, so I'm not going to do that again. So if you want to be involved in a meaningful way, our doors are open. Obviously, I know there's some people in this room I would love to see step up, but I'm not going to volunteer to anybody anymore. So is that fair?
Well, I want to say this. We have some people that have been with us from the very beginning that are in those roles, and they are going to move up. So we're going to have, with whatever they want to do. I'm sorry, I'm pulling my camera back up. So there have been, I'm looking at Bob and Christine Parker. David Sweet's been around. Everybody fits in the role. I think there's a natural graduation of things, but things are going to start getting really clear really soon. But I want to say something because I've already gotten about 30 messages from people wanting to help out with things and volunteer. I promise that we're getting to it, but I need to find a day and sit and pull those names. And I promise if you're putting your name in, you won't be ignored. And we'll go over what needs to be done. So I just want to say that if I don't reply immediately, it's only because I kind of run a little business too, just like you do. So I'll get to it, I promise. That's it.
Perfect. All right. Now let's get to the good stuff. Let's learn something today. Let's bring up Mr. Joe. Joe promised that this is the last time he's going to talk today too.
For sure.
He's got a good shirt on though.
Dude, I've been talking all day, man. My voice is already dead.
So next week we're going to hear from Greg Sargent. Greg Sargent Academy. He does call conversion and plumber marketing, but call conversion is what we're going to concentrate on. Capitalizing on the leads that you already paid for, you already got in the door. You just don't want your secretary or whoever answers the phone to scare them off. So that's going to be cool.
Sweet. Well, again, the theme this month, guys, is sales and marketing, right? And I think I've made it kind of pretty clear that the word is access. It's all about access, nothing else. And I think that I've been hopefully challenging everyone that's paying attention to try to find access, some way, shape, or form that you just haven't done before. And we've demonstrated a couple of ways on how access works. Gotten a lot of messages back from the members and viewers saying that really worked well. Thanks a lot. So I know that it's getting tangible for a lot of you. So I want to continue the message of access through the rest of this campaign. And today we're going to talk about access to agents, adjusters, brokers, the other side of the insurance wall, right? So, and I'm not talking about TPAs. I'm not talking about buying relationships, right? Because we're not about any of that. But we're talking about how do you get access to get them. And I'm going to start with adjusters. Every single one of you deal with adjusters if you're involved in the claims process, right? Or you have at some point. Every time you meet an adjuster, that's an opportunity for a new relationship. Even if they're a dickhead, like they could just be having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
I've met thousands of adjusters over my career. And I just try to be really nice to them. And I don't mean kiss their ass or coddle to them or discount your stuff, but just be like a human, like respect them. And I spend the time to understand what their needs are. And I just do their job for them, right? We've kind of talked about this before. You produce the document package, you write a true estimate, and you know your company's margins. You know where you have to get to, okay? But you have to build that. Now, once you meet that adjuster, you now have access, but you have to figure out how to open it, right? I often will offer to any adjuster, I don't care who they are, when I meet them, hey, listen, if you ever come across a file and you need a second opinion, I'll be more than glad to give you a consult. Like I genuinely will. And sometimes I'll do it for free. If it becomes repetitive, it could become a cost. I don't look for it for an exchange of work. That's not what I look for. I look for to build a professional image with that carrier and that adjuster. And I don't go in and undercut somebody's bill. Actually, just the opposite. Most of my comparable estimates are actually higher than the other contractor because they didn't know how to freaking estimate. Just saying. But I build that relationship. I create that access into them, right? And now here we are a year later, 2 years later, you get a random phone call. Hey, Joe, I've got an issue. And they're asking you just to take care of it. They're giving you a job outside the program, by the way, happens every day for those of you still getting program work. And you get this relationship, you have access to this adjuster, right? That's a really good way, an example to get in with an adjuster is just be real and do their job. Make it simple. Be the professional. Don't be the arrogant asshole. Now, the next one is for you guys who like to chase a little event every now and again and like to capitalize when it really rains hard. And that's dealing with those CAT adjusters. And we've all had the same issues, right? They're rolling out of Texas or the South or wherever you're from. And they come into your town and some of them are total like jerks. But I will tell you my experience, 1 out of 10 are phenomenal. Like they're awesome dudes. They're like, I can relate with them. They're real. They hunt, they fish, they're real, they're not pansies, right? And then you know what I do? I just ask them for the business, man. Like I just cut to the chase. And I say, listen, you have 38 files. You can't give out the work. I am more than glad to ladder assist you on every single job for the next week. Cool? Like I'll take all your photos, everything. And you know what happens is they say, well, I got to do my own job. But you know, you were really professional. This customer's really happy, blase. And now you're walking with that CAT adjuster and you try that on every single one on that event. And 9 of them are going to tell you to go get bent, right? Because they're drinking the carrier Kool-Aid like it's nicotine and on steroids. Like they're all over this stuff. But you're going to find the one who's just doing his job, right? Like who's just a good guy. And is like, okay, well, someone's got to do the work. I'm not from here. And you seem honest. And there's the access into 10 more files, right? So access isn't always about a trick, right? Or a hack or technology. Access can be received, right? Simply by giving. By simply giving and being truthful with the process and being respectful and asking for the business and building and establishing rapport and doing the right things with your customers, having the right company culture, right? Like having ethics and a moral compass actually gives you so much business. It's a ridiculous amount of business because it gives you access. Like that adjuster's not going to call you just because she thinks you're a good guy. Like she's judging the shit out of you, right? And she's like, the customer hasn't called me. The invoices are correct. Everything was good. They got it done in a week. Like so they trust you. Getting access to adjusters specifically is all about action. You show them that you can be what they expect. You show them that you can execute what you said you would. You demonstrate, right? You act. And then it comes from them, 100%. All right. So access isn't about a button sometimes or an innovative idea. Sometimes access is just being real. Okay. All right. Now agents, right? Gary Edel, phenomenal content on access to agents, right? Like I don't even want to try to reinvent that wheel or say that I know something better. I mean, the guy's got a really solid methodology and it works for like anybody who wants to apply it. No question about it. My methodology a little bit different because it's what I've always done personally. And it just seems to work consistently the best, right? I use customer satisfaction forms to gain access to every single agent I want to talk to. That's it. And I use them repetitively until they finally say, sit down, I want to give you my business. And that sales cycle could take 6 months. It could take a year. It could take 3 months. It's all based on volume with the carriers and the region and the events. There's a lot of variables that can accelerate that cycle. But ultimately, at the end of the day, strap in for the long haul. Like, don't think go talk to an agent tomorrow and you got them, right? Get the access to the agent through his customer, through your customer referral. Get that customer satisfaction down every single time and personally deliver it right to the agent. Like, don't even think about anything else. Like, just keep it that simple. Don't walk in the door and give them your card. Don't walk in the door and ask for the business. Walk in there and say, hey, I serviced one of your customers. Thank you. They're very happy. And give them your satisfaction sheet. You don't have to know how to sell. You don't have to know how to negotiate. You don't have to know how to do anything other than hand over an envelope. And you do that enough times, I swear to you, I don't care who you are, what market you're in, that agent's going to give you the opportunity to sit down. And when he does, you don't shut up until you sell him. You close the deal. But you can get access to the agent, any single agent in this country. And I would let anybody challenge me to that. It's actions. It's taking the work product that you take so much damn pride in making every single day with your employees, having a customer document it on paper to say they're satisfied, and then just sharing that with somebody. Access to agents every single time. Again, guys, there's 9 ways to skin this cat. I know there's a lot of you out there that are practicing other methods that work for you, and that's awesome, and I support it, and I'm sure they work. I've personally never just tried them. I found something that's worked and maybe a bad habit, but I kind of just stuck with it. But access to agents is, again, through action. Action. You get this end result. You get this gift of the ability to talk to this agent because you just did your job right. Right? It's just action. Action equals access. All right. Next level access, right? We're going up the food chain in the carrier system. It's the broker. I would have to just blindly guess that 40% of you that'll watch this video have never talked to a broker and may not even know their true role in the insurance process. And that's okay. Fair enough. So for those of you who don't know, pay attention. For those of you who know, let's talk about how we get access to them. Let's talk about how we get to some serious freaking decision makers. People that actually control the ability to implement things into underwriting and negotiate on higher levels than you could ever imagine. People that at a mouse click can give you access to millions and millions and millions of dollars of business. It's not easy, and it's not just going to happen. You do have to put action against it, right? So with that being said, the best way that we found access to brokers is through commercial property owners. We approach a commercial property owner, we have a conversation with them, we engage them to do a disaster recovery plan, emergency preparedness plan, whatever you guys want to call it, where you work or what you do. For us, it's a disaster recovery plan. And we execute that to our customers at no charge. It's very comprehensive. It's very efficient. Side note, from the summit, we had some awesome guys there that actually have a software that do this entire process of disaster recovery planning and like automate it for you and your customer. And we do it kind of manually in some respects. So I was kind of really excited to do that, and I have a demo set up. But anyways, we do a disaster plan. And here's what happens with that plan. It ends up on the broker's desk. That's what happens with it. I didn't know that, like when we first did it, like it just happened. Never got a call. I learned it in hindsight. So several plans later, I finally get a call from a broker one day, introduces himself, and he says he's a broker. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what this means, right? Like I'm clueless, okay? And he said, I'd like to meet with you in my office. You're here in Metro Detroit. I'm in Southfield. I'd like for you to come down and meet with me. I said, okay. He tells me it's about this client that I just put this plan together for. So I go over to his office, and he looks at me and he goes, this is a really professional report. And I see that you've identified most, if not all, of their liabilities, both with their inventory, their products, but their processes, their employees, etc. And I'm just really impressed with this. And I'm just curious, what did you charge Mr. Smith? And I looked at him and I said, I didn't charge him anything. He looked at me and he goes, why didn't you charge him? I said, because I put him under contract that if anything ever happens to his building, this beautiful plan that you admire, I get to fulfill, because who else would do it, right? Like, why make a plan and not be the one who's actually going to do it? It's kind of silly. That's just my opinion on planning, right? Like, you got to participate in what you say, because reality is when the shit goes down, it never goes down how you planned, but that's why you got to plan, but you got to kind of figure some things out, right? So my assumption was I'd do it. And he like stepped back and he's like, well, okay. He goes, well, then we're going to underwrite you in the policy. Again, guys, I'm clueless, right? Completely clueless what that means. And he says, that's what we're going to do. A couple weeks later, I get a package in the mail. It's a declarations page, and I'm on it, and my customer that I wrote this plan's on it. I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay, cool. I'm just thinking like it's insurance for insurance, right? Whatever. Again, I just don't know. A couple years go by, right? We keep repeating this process. I keep meeting more and more brokers. And now I'm meeting brokers on like a weekly level. And now I'm not foolish, because all of a sudden we had a claim, and it was on one of those clients that we had a plan for, that the broker put us in underwriting on. And I've never done a claim in my entire life where an adjuster did not physically show up on a commercial large loss claim ever until this claim. I kept requesting for an adjuster to be assigned. By the third day, I'm on the phone with a supervisor at the desk, and I'm like, listen, I don't think you understand. It's a $400,000 claim. I need a field adjuster here, like right now. And they're like, well, Mr. Ledbetter, we're looking at the policy, and you're first mitigation responsible. I know, that's why I'm here. Well, you're underwritten in the policy, sir. So like, you just have to document what you're doing and report back to us.
It's magic.
I'm like,
You're like, what? Could you say that again?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I get that, right? Like, I get that. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't sending somebody. Are we good? Because I just need to keep moving forward, right? I hang up the phone, and I think I just like crapped my pants, right? He's like, write your own check, basically. What does that mean? Like, I don't get it. I'm still like, I don't know what to feel, okay? So we execute the job. We document it like everything. We get done. We put our document package together, and I send one email. I get a phone call a day later, a couple of simple questions. 2 weeks later, a check shows up in full. In full. I didn't ask any questions, right? Like, I'm not asking any questions. I still don't understand what just happened.
At least on the way to the bank, no questions.
Right. I still don't understand what just happened, okay? We process everything. I called a broker up, and I said, hey, I just want to give you an update. The claim was this. This is what happened. Everything was handled. They've been in business. The broker is like, listen, the carrier was really happy, very impressed with the paperwork. Oh, I said, that's great. That's great. And I said, and I asked him, I said, why didn't they send an adjuster? And he goes, because you're underwritten in the policy. Like, you have a legal obligation to do that.
Wow.
Like, you're there. They're telling the customer that you're part of the insurance policy, some way, shape, or form, right? Like, it's part of the conversation.
Wow.
And the light bulb went off, and I finally got it, and I understood it. And I swear to you, I spent like the next 2 years focusing on just that task of meeting as many brokers as I possibly could, right? And to establish that ability to have that authority on a claim, to get first notice of loss and actually bill it appropriately and professionally, and with the customer's intent to keep them in business, right? Mm-hmm. So like, we'll mobilize in temporary.
It's about business, because at that point it's business. It's about business interruption. It's not about the loss. Exactly.
It comes down to what some of us may still not understand in the industry, that the larger value of the claim that the carrier has to pay is not what they pay us to fix it. It's all the administrative costs and the back end costs and the claim supporting costs, right, to manage the entire claim. So like, this process of having a plan actually eliminated like 60% of their overhead on the backside of the claim. So the carrier's like, dude, we don't care if you charge extra $100,000. Like, we're saving. Now, they don't obviously say that, right? And they really don't think that, but they're saving so much money by having this automated process. It's like the key to the vendor program without all the minutia. It's dedicated, it's consistent. Okay, so access. We used to knock on doors, right? And say, hey, we'd like to give you a plan. And, we got like no responses, 1 out of maybe 20. Last week, we talked about social media, getting access right through social media directly to owners by massaging pain points. That's how we get to our commercial clients today, to be able to present these plans, and everything still works. So access, again, is action, right? It's doing a plan, giving, like, pay attention, giving, okay? And then executing the conversation with the powers to be once you get to that next step. That's the broker. After that, Yes. Now you have to maintain that client. Like, we didn't get into that whole conversation of how you nurture that large loss client over the next X. The conversation is about action equals access. So the past couple of weeks, guys, we just talked about access. Today is really about actions. I challenge all of you in your own businesses, in your own environments, in your own markets, to act, to look for access. Like, there's relationships that you can establish and people and revenue sources that can come to your business that you're not realizing, that you're not thinking about today. So I want you to act. I want you to have the mindset of trying to give something, whatever that is, of value to the next person and gains of access to what they may have, a relationship, a connection, whatever it may be. And watch how that changes your culture. Watch how that changes way more than just your sales.
Nice. Hey, would you be willing to share that customer satisfaction form with us? Inquiring minds want to know on the Facebook.
For sure. $500 a copy.
PDF.
No, listen, and for all you that, listen, there's at least 1,000 of you that I've talked to at this point on the phone, right? Like, so anybody that knows, direct message me. I'll give you my cell phone and I'll make the time for you. I'm all about just helping you guys. So anyone had any questions like that, we can take it offline as well.
Perfect.
But action equals access. Let's not mess around, rebels.
Action equals access. Stephen, did you have an agent success story for us? Would you like to tell us?
A great one. Tell us, Stephen.
I actually have two of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-oh.
The first one.
Tell the second squirrel that fell off the wheel to generate the Wi-Fi to get back on the wheel. There we go. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Got it. Yes.
So the first encounter today was accidental. And I kind of put a little video earlier up today, but I actually have a local insurance agent that is named Trevor Martin here in Conway. Well, one of my squad rebel guys from Colorado is named Trevor Martin.
From Abbott's, yep.
I actually added Trevor Martin, the insurance agent, to my Bravo Squad PM group on Facebook Messenger 2 weeks ago. So we're going back and forth about how great the conference was, and man, we love restoration. And so he PMs me today and says, hey, I've got a client in your area. Would you like to go to his water damage and give him a price? I'm like, Trevor from Colorado is giving me work in Conway, Arkansas. This is great. So he goes, yeah, I've got a bunch of clientele that is underwater in Faulkner County. I'm like, wow, Trevor Martin, Colorado must have a lot of guys that are rich that have houses in Conway.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, I looked at his profile. I said, something's wrong here. So I looked at his profile, and it's my local insurance agent that I have no idea how he got on my Facebook, much less on my Facebook Bravo page. So I apologized to him. I said, man, I don't know how I got you on that page because I took off. I said, look, I'm going to private message you. I'm sorry this happened. He goes, no, I've been enjoying it. I don't know how I got on your page either.
He's just been lurking. He's just been watching the conversation.
Yeah, we're going back and forth. He goes, yeah, I've got a couple of clients. I gave him your name. You said it was okay to do that. And, man, I've got some other clients. I said, look, you want to come by my shop? You know, I'm just down the road from your office. He said, what about tomorrow? I'll stop in. I want to see your setup. I want to see what you can offer. I want to see what you can do for my clients.
Wow.
So the second guy, I did a client 3 weeks ago. The lady paid my QuickBooks invoice and never thought anything of it. The guy today says, hey, Would you like my Facebook page? Other insurance agent. I said, yeah, I like it. Matter of fact, thanks for letting me do your client's house 3 weeks ago and allowing us to step in on your behalf and assist you taking care of her needs. He wrote back and said, thank you for taking care of my client. And I offer services to other clients that he has. And he's so here's two agents, two local agents, different insurance companies. One is an independent for Farm Bureau. The other one is just an independent that writes. He has over 100 different underwriters that can write insurance for his company that he networks with. So I don't know what they're going to turn out to be. I've got an appointment tomorrow with one of them that is already, he said this, he said, I am looking for a reliable, and he said this on purpose, I believe. He said, I'm looking for a reliable restoration owner for Faulkner County that I can give business to. That's what he said. So by accident, he got on my Facebook page because I thought it was somebody else. And lo and behold, it just fell into my lap today.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's an awesome story. And I'm going to tomorrow accidentally like connect with a whole bunch of agents on my Facebook. That's an awesome idea. Congratulations, Steven. That's a phenomenal story, dude. That's great. Good luck. Good luck
The
with that
same
meeting.
thing works with LinkedIn as well. I mean, I'm a LinkedIn connection whore. I will connect with anybody. You got a face, I'm connecting, right? I'm accepting your invitation. But I have put out content, and then I'll get pinged by somebody that I had no idea they existed. But they're somehow in my 9,500 connections on LinkedIn, and they respond because I put something out there that touched them somehow, or it touched a pain point that I didn't know they had because I didn't even know them, but they knew me and they saw the stuff. So, and how much of this would come out of your standard program protocol? None. Because agents don't exist in a TPA. Agents don't exist in a program. They don't want us to know they exist because they don't want these relationships to be connected. The TPA or whatever program wants to be in control, right? And this is how we get around that whole thing. We make our own relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You got something to add,
So
Steve?
I've got another one.
Oh, boy.
Just remembered.
That's like
Just
extra
remembered.
credit.
I throw this out there.
So
I get almost all of
I've been doing
referrals, and I wouldn't be able to do it any other way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Parker, you stepped on Steven, but you get most of your referrals from agents?
Yeah, I think my internet's sucking here, so I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. But I get almost all of my business from agent referrals, and I couldn't imagine doing it any other way, to be honest. The agent referrals are, once you're in the customer's house, you're already basically sold by the agent. And if you can build that relationship and be a tool for them, then it makes everything go super easy. The adjuster can't come in and say, hey, use our preferred vendor. You are the preferred vendor.
Exactly.
It makes the whole sales process of every step along the way just tons easier.
Well, once you do a couple and you have that comfort level, or they have the comfort level with you, you're pre-sold, man. I mean, it's yours to lose. Yeah, your internet does suck. There he is. Oh, there he is. All right, Steven, you got one more story? You can have two.
I do. So thinking about insurance and insurance agent, I've been doing business with this one local agent for 6 years now, and so now he's doing my restoration business insurance. And so this past weekend, he said, hey, man, our corporate's done a lot. We can do them.
I'm sorry, Steven.
Steven,
It's just not working. I'm going to get Tourette's here. I'm sorry.
I got something to say.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Clark. I'm sorry, Stephen. Let's carry that on when we.
Yeah, Stephen, when you get to the bed, you're frozen right now, Stephen.
Yeah.
That's the least you've ever said ever. I'm kidding. I want to point out the power of the group. This morning, a member of this group made a post that he was at a very large loss. And I don't see the final count, but I want to say 40 or 50 comments later, everyone jumped on top of it and helped him out in every way they could. Now, I don't know if the results are going to be the way they should be, and I have something to say real quick about that, not even bashing the person, but I will say the amount of caring and giving. And some of these names, I don't even know who they are. I don't know if this person knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this, and I want to say this with all the love, and I've been holding this in all day because I want it to come out right. You can do more harm trying to jump into something that you shouldn't than it's just Facebook is not going to – you can't run your business on Facebook help. I'm sorry. We are here.
Yeah.
We are support. We are an alliance, and we are here. But you've got to understand that you just can't – you don't jump in the deep end when you don't know how to swim. Because the life vest that I can throw you, it's going to take you 2 days to get there.
It's not going to get there. Yep.
It's not going to get there. And I want people to take risk, and I want people to gamble, but not at the peril of themselves and their company and honestly our industry. And this is near and dear to me because I've seen this happen and I've been in these shoes, and I wanted to, I personally wanted to jump on a plane and get there, but that's not going to work, and nobody comes to save us when we are into something. It's okay to mess up, and failure is okay, but these are the kind of lessons that we talk about that cost us a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Andy said it one time, it's FOMO, fear of missing out. There are some games that you say I would win more by not playing than actually playing at all. But again, I hope that this person doesn't feel like I'm attacking them, because we all did what we could. And I think that the results from looking at the last couple of posts, I think it started to kind of maybe right itself. And I think there might be a good outcome. But I tell you what, it was an oh shit moment there for a while.
If you've never handled a multi-unit, multi-story water damage loss, don't go to Facebook for help on how to handle that loss. I read that today, and I was just like, what are we supposed to do? I mean, I'm supposed to reach through my screen and do something for you. We're talking about 10 years of education and learning and hard knocks that someone is expecting to get through a Facebook feed. Just can't do that.
Can I talk for a minute about just for the sake of lessons learned here, just what the negatives can be on something like this? And I'm sure there's a lot of people. Scott Peterson's here. Jeremy's done some large losses. When you step into that league, when you get out of the AAA and maybe step into the AA, there are big sharks there that are willing to. There are people that will show up and pounce on you. This particular situation was caused by a plumber who was trying to push his own relationship restoration company on there. Then there's going to start to be adjusters that show up that have a Rolodex full of the Belfours and the big guys and the color guard. There wasn't a lot of equipment there. So somebody comes in and says, you've been here a day and you've got 3 fans on 3 floors. It can really set you back in your area if you're trying to brand yourself as a responsible. And sometimes responsible. And again, I don't mean to be – this probably sounds like it's piling on. But, man, if we don't find something good out of this, the lesson learned, what that means is find another partner in your neighborhood. I know that guy has 6 or 8 rebels within 30, 40 miles of him. And some days that's a big problem. But today it would have been a big help.
Today would have been a help. Yeah.
But so, again, I think it turned out really good, and I'm really kind of caps off my day that it did. But I tell you It was a long one, and I'm sure, imagine for them, somebody's got their hand raised too. By the way,
Mr. Peterson.
Go ahead.
Peterson.
I forgot to put it back down. Clark hit it. That's what I was going to say is when we ran into large losses that we'd never been before, there's a million companies in your area that will help you out and split it 50-50, and 50% of the profit is better than losing your ass.
Even if you give
losing
them
your reputation to where you never will get another large loss in that area again.
Give them 80%. It doesn't matter. It's the cheapest education you're ever going to get.
And give them 50%.
Had a kid, Californian. Thanks, Scott. I'm glad it turned out. I hope it does turn out. I've seen more harm than good come from these situations, and a lot of it has to do with being able to let go. Right? Oh, you got this lead, and you start spending that money in your head that you think you're going to make on day one and day two, and you forget about the little things like, I don't know, a contract, or I don't know, do I have enough equipment to handle a loss this size, or even know how to locate a 5,000 CFM desiccant? Just a lot of stuff that we can be a lot of help here at the Restoration Rebel Facebook page, but we can't be that kind of help. I hope it works out.
Yeah, build those relationships now. I mean, the largest loss that we got, we built a relationship years before that happened. It was just somebody that had the large loss equipment, and we built it strategically so either one of us was able to respond and lock it up before anybody else, and then we can still tag team and get it done.
Yeah.
And that's the trick. You got to stake it. You got to get equipment. You got to get cost plugged in so that you've got mobilization covered, because nobody wants you to demobilize and pay for somebody else to ship a desiccant. He ended up getting a 5K. So he got a 5K coming in there. It's all got lightweight gypsum concrete. All that's need to be dried for, and that's not a 3-day drive, by the way. We did say this would not be a 3-day drive, but he got a desiccant, and I think he needs to get some rental fans and some axials to support it. But end of the day, good thing. But we're probably at over an hour now. I don't have anything else. Danny Burnett, you got anything?
Anyone have an agent success story?
Yeah.
Besides Parker, which we all know. I mean, those gingers are just overachievers anyway. I mean,
How about a squad story? Anybody started?
Who's had a meeting? Who's had a meeting?
Yeah.
All right, Bob and Christine, how'd that go? They're ready for bed.
They are.
Like midnight there.
Listen, we moved from outside to inside. Now we've torn our room apart. It's been a disaster all day. We did it. Actually, we had a meeting today. There was Stephen Ardeno and Sarah Conley.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. We had a couple of goals to hold each other accountable for. So
good. We're going to move that from. Was it on a Zoom meeting? Yeah.
No, we ended up doing it on the Google
Hangouts. Yeah, I think we're going to move everybody to Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
Or Google Meet, whichever.
There were logistical problems with Zoom, and I can't access to let everybody into those because we have to be the host as the subscriber. So Google Meet is. I dropped the link into every squad, and I know people are going to be asking about squads, but Google Meet, you set it up yourself. It's simple. It's one click. There's boom, boom, go.
Okay, perfect. All right. Any last words, Danny? It looks like you came forward to the camera, Mr. Burnett. You're like, I'm going to say something. A great book, just a phenomenal book. That should be required reading for, I don't know, all of us.
Danny's been dropping quotes all week of that book in the group, and it shows the architecture that goes into the claims management process. They hired McKinsey, a multi-billion-dollar back in the mid 2000s, Danny, after Katrina is when they really started it. Danny's not wanting to talk today. So.
Yeah, and the most important thing to know about that book is the McKinsey report mechanics are breaking down. Actually, they already are broken down. The next iteration of the insurance world It's going to be vastly different than these legacy carriers. I think Sean Ivory is trying to get a word in edgewise. Is that what I'm hearing, Sean?
Yeah, I have a story from last week.
Yeah.
In January, to the big freeze that we had, we got a big restaurant down in Jersey City, and we partnered with another company in the group. They went to do the job. And last week, when I'm on vacation, one of my manager and another guy from the other company made that insurance broker they refer us the job. And now they're opening us. They kind of connected with a bunch of other brokers, and they open for us the entire network.
That's awesome.
And I was not even there, so it's the best part.
Right. Access.
Nice. I love it.
It was a good story.
Good. Well, we are up against time.
Can I say one thing?
No. Okay, yes. Fine.
Who's that? Grub?
It's Grub. I just want to say many of you are our most engaged members of the Facebook group, and I want to say thank you for the excitement and just the continuing of what we felt during the summit in the last 10 days or so. I felt like we kept that momentum going last week and into this week. And then personally, you all could tell I had a pretty rough Saturday at the summit, and I can't tell you the number of people that came up to me in person or sent me a message of encouragement, and it really meant a lot to me. So, and as an update, I'm going to be seeing a specialist on Friday and trying to get my health back in order. So if you pray, appreciate your prayers, but otherwise, I really appreciate every one of you.
Had a kid. Yeah, I didn't know how to finish your presentation that you started, so I'm glad the Stellar guy.
Yeah, me either.
I'm glad the Stellar folks stepped in and rescued it. I still want to see that PowerPoint that you didn't get a chance to finish. So
it's coming. I'm gonna be recording the entire presentation in modules, so they're really easy, bite-sized, like 7 to 8 minute how-tos.
Perfect.
And I'll be pushing that out in the next 2 weeks.
Perfect. And all Alliance members can see it. So until next week, you know how to reach us. You know how to find us. Don't forget about each other. Reach out, lift each other up, keep the positivity flowing, and just be cool. You guys, I love you guys. I love this group. I'm very happy you're here, and have a great week. We'll be in touch next week.